Hey guys, Alan Hain here, the Lawn Care Nut, and today it's all about Christmas lights, putting up Christmas lights, and let's dominate our neighbors. Now, I did a video like this about 4 or 5 years ago. This is an updated version of that video. It's going to be really long, and it's going to be broken into several parts. So first is going to be prep, which I'm starting to do here. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Just a little bit about cord management, but not much, only because I don't know how you can manage your cords at your house because everybody's a little different. Then we're going to talk about clips and putting Christmas lights along the roof line, shingles, and gutters. Then we're going to go what I'm calling the ground game. We're going to go down on the ground and we're going to do a couple things on the ground. We're going to do some things with spotlights, and we're going to finally finish up with the final product. Now, I want you to keep in mind, this is all about dominating your neighbors. And we're not doing the old Clark Griswold here where we're putting up 7 million lights. We're not trying to do that. We're actually going to dominate our neighbors by being clean, simple, and classy. That's a better way to do it. It's also a little bit easier, and so that's kind of what I'm going to teach you here. So you got all this, call this basics. This is really kind of basic Christmas lights. So the first thing is you got to get your lights out. Now, I've had mine for several years. I use LEDs, which I actually hate LEDs. They suck. And I actually have a video where I'll show you. I'll link right here. You can go down and see the video where I talk about LED lights versus traditional Christmas lights, or whatever. I think they're called incandescent lights. But I do use the LEDs because this is what I bought a long time ago, well, several years ago, not really knowing, and so I've just stuck with them. There are some advantages, which I will show you as we go, but I do leave my clips on my lights every single year. I'm not going to take the clips off because they're honestly just a pain in the rear end to put on. But you're going to notice that some always do fall off. But so here I am coming up, and so here I am showing you these are the LEDs I use. These are C7s. And you can see the clips are on there, shingle and gutter clips, and you can see a bunch of them fall off. That's okay. I mean, it's just one of those things you got to adjust. I don't do too much adjusting of the clips themselves on the ground. Okay, Hain, we see them. Yep, thanks, buddy. Okay, back off. Thank you. All right. So anyway, you just got to get all of your lights out, line them all up because we're going to test them. So put all the male ends at one end. By the way, if you ever wondered what you should do with your old dad jeans, they make great Christmas light putter-upper jeans. As you can see me sporting my old-ass freaking, like, 15-year-old dad jeans. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Alright, so here's one of the reasons I hate LEDs. Because there's 3 wires in between each bulb, and those wires are triple tangle action. So a lot more tangles. If you use traditional incandescent light strings, the space between bulbs is a lot more. There, I know. We see it. Okay, buddy. We see it sucks. They tangle. Yeah. Anyway, all those wires in between, they also cause the lights to twist and turn, and they do affect your application and make it harder to install. But anyway, more tangles. So there you go. I still use the LEDs. You'll see why. Okay. All right, dude. We're done. Let's fast forward a little bit. Alright, so there they are. I got them all lined up, all ready to go. That's all the strands that are going to go around my roof there. So next we're going to test them. I guess I don't really need to tell you this, but yes, you should always test. Even with LEDs, they're more durable and they don't tend to break. They don't have problems, but I have had fuses go out on them, so it's a lot easier to change fuses down on the ground than it is up on the roof. So here you go. I'm going to prove to you that I test. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Not very bright because LEDs suck, but there we go. Yes, okay, thanks. One more. Okay, yeah, so you gotta test them all. Yep, we get it. Okay, Hain, we get it. You tested. Yes, thank you. Alright, next we gotta get all the lights up on the roof. So, you know, I don't know if I used to really like going on the roof. Nowadays I don't so much, but, you know, it is what it is. I was lucky today was fairly warm on this day, so I wasn't really bad being up there. But what you want to do is get everything up there. Try not to tangle it on the way up. It would definitely help if you had someone to help you. I didn't, so I just try to make big sweeping loops, chuck them up there, try not to get them tangled on the roof, and then dry lay everything out. Again, making sure all of your male ends are facing the same way wherever your plug is going to be, and then just dry lay everything on the roof, so that way when you're going through, you're not having to get up too many times. So pretty simple there. Now let's go down and let's get our extension cord attached. Okay, another tip. I don't know if the wind is going to allow this or not, but I always put up my lights plugged in. The reason I do that is because as I'm stringing them along, I can
notice if there's any problems ahead of time. It's really hard if you get all of the lights up and then something's not working, one strand isn't working or all of them aren't working. It's hard to troubleshoot from that point. But if you string them lit up, then you'll be able to see almost immediately if there's a problem and hopefully be able to cure it ahead of time. Usually it's just a connection between males and females. Usually that's the only problem, but again, I'd rather troubleshoot that from the get-go than have to try to find it later. Especially this will take me several hours. It might even be dark when I'm done. You know, and I don't want to spoil my display. I don't want to spoil my display on the first night. So go ahead and plug her in. Okay, now I'm fortunate at my house that I have a plug right here, and I actually start my lights just right there on that corner. So I don't have a very long run to the plug. Okay, so here we are on the back corner of the roof. This is where my plug is, obviously, as you can see, and this is where my lights begin. Now, one thing that don't want to happen is get a lot of snow or a lot of wind or something, and this extension cord start banging around, and actually, if it's not secured up at the top, it can fall, and the weight of that cord will actually rip all of your lights down all the way around the house. Don't ask me how I know that, but it's happened to me before. So what I do is I actually secure the extension cord on one of the gutter brackets, like you see me doing here, using a zip tie. And then the other thing I do is I make sure that I keep that connection there out of the gutter. I don't want water or ice or anything to get up on that and seep inside of that connection and cause a short. So I usually put like here I'm using a half of a landscaping brick just to prop that up to keep that connection out of the gutter and up in the air a little bit, where again it's just not going to have as much chance of getting contaminated with water or ice or both. Okay guys, we'll see if we can keep this out of the wind. One thing I always do is I take an extra box of clips up on the roof with me, because inevitably every single time there are clips that have fallen off, and so if you have those up on the roof with you in your pocket, they're easy to get so you can put a new one on. Always take clips. I take a whole box. You don't want to run out and have to come down for no reason.
Okay, and from here it's just a matter of letting shingle and gutter clips do their thing. So with shingles, they slide underneath the shingles. Again, I will link in the description below to the video I did that shows you about these clips and how to use them and how they work. And of course, they clip onto gutters. Now, use the factory distance that's between the bulbs to go ahead and keep your distance consistent. It's a little bit tough, again, with LEDs because of the way the three-pronged wires work and all that, but do the best you can. And you're going to notice that they're not all going to be straight. Again, do the best you can, but don't be too concerned if they're a little bit off. By the time somebody's looking at this way down on the ground at night, they're not going to be able to really tell that they're crooked a little bit. Lastly, I do point my lights up in the air because I want them to look bright against the night sky. If you point them down and you have tan fascia like I do, then it'll cause your white lights to look tan. So go ahead and point those straight up in the air to get a little bit extra brightness factor. With that, I'm just going to show you some really cool video, and we'll go from there. And then the next part we're going to get to will be all about the ground game.